What if I told you that one story arc quietly became one of the most important moments in the entire Star Wars timeline, and it didn't even appear in a movie? Star Wars The Clone Wars finale arc, The Siege of Mandalore, didn't just end a beloved show. It redefined the fall of the Republic. It expanded the tragedy of the Chosen One, Anakin Skywalker. Yet it elevated Ahsoka Tano into one of the most important heroes in all of Star Wars. And yet it reshaped the future of characters like Bo-Katan Kryze and Darth Maul. So today, we're breaking down why the Siege of Mandalore arc changed Star Wars forever. Thank you for tuning in to Clan Brandalorian. My name is Brandon. As always, if you're into anything in the Star Wars universe, whether that's lore, theories, Funko, and Lego, go ahead and consider subscribing. You can always change your mind later. So let's go ahead and get into how the Siege of Mandalore completely changed Star Wars forever. For years, Star Wars The Clone Wars told stories across the galaxy, but the Siege of Mandalore was the moment where everything finally collided with the events of Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. What made this arc so powerful is that it happens at the exact same time as the fall of the Jedi Order. While Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker rush off to save the Chancellor, Ahsoka is leading an assault on Mandalore alongside Captain Rex and Bo-Katan Kryze. This split narrative is brilliant storytelling, because while the Jedi still believe they were fighting the Clone Wars, the audience, like you and I, we know what's happening next. The galaxy is literally seconds away from Order 66. And Mandalore becomes one of the last battlefields of the Republic. The Siege of Mandalore truly cemented Ahsoka Tano as one of the greatest Star Wars characters of all time. Remember, she's no longer a Jedi. She walked away from the Order after being betrayed by the very people who trained her. But when Mandalore calls for help, she still answers. That moment shows something powerful. Ahsoka doesn't fight for the Jedi Council. She fights for what the Jedi were supposed to be. And during the siege, we see her leadership in full display. She commands the 332nd Company, a clone battalion that literally paints their helmets to honor her. That level of loyalty speaks volumes, because even outside the Jedi Order, Ahsoka still inspires the people around her. And when Order 66 is triggered, her survival alongside Captain Rex becomes one of the most emotional sequences in Star Wars history. Another reason the Siege of Mandalore is so important is because of Darth Maul. Maul isn't just a villain here anymore. He's the only character who understands what's really happening. He knows that Darth Sidious has been manipulating the galaxy from the shadows. He knows the Clone Wars are a trap. And he finally knows that Anakin Skywalker is the key to everything. In fact, Maul's entire plan during the Siege of Mandalore was to lure Anakin there to him. Because if Maul killed Anakin, he knew that this could be a chance to stop Sidious from rising to the top. But Anakin never arrives. Instead, Maul faces Ahsoka. And that duel becomes one of the greatest lightsaber fights ever animated. And it has to be up there. Top 5 maybe in all Star Wars choreography, whether that's live action or animated. Yeah, it's up there. But more importantly, it shows Maul completely losing control of his destiny. For once, the master manipulator is powerless against the future. The Siege of Mandalore also reshapes the destiny of Mandalore itself. For Bo-Katan Kryze, this moment was supposed to be the liberation of her homeworld. Instead, it becomes the beginning of Mandalore's downfall. Because the Republic's victory is short-lived, once the Empire rises, Mandalore is eventually crushed under Imperial rule. And that story echoes years later in The Mandalorian. The Siege of Mandalore becomes the first domino leading toward the tragic destruction known as the Great Purge of Mandalore. Meaning, this arc doesn't just affect the Clone Wars, it shapes the entire future of Mandalorian culture. What truly makes the Siege of Mandalore special is how cinematic it feels. The animation was pushed to a completely new level. The lighting, the motion capture lightsaber fights, and the emotional storytelling all feel closer to Star Wars film than it does a television episode. But the real reason it stands out is because of tragedy. Every character in this story are fighting for something that they believe in. Ahsoka believes she's doing the right thing. Bo-Katan believes she's saving Mandalore. Maul believes he can stop Sidious. But us as the audience, we know. The Republic is already doomed. And that dramatic irony is what makes the Siege of Mandalore so powerful. It's not a victory story. It's not even the last stand before the galaxy falls into darkness. So here's where things get really interesting going into Maul's Shadow Lord. The Siege of Mandalore may also be setting the stage up early for Maul's Shadow Lord. This period of Maul's life, after controlling Mandalore and before running the Crimson Dawn criminal syndicate, is largely unexplored in live action. And the Siege of Mandalore shows us something crucial. Maul isn't just a Sith apprentice anymore. He's a shadow ruler, manipulating entire criminal networks across the galaxy. A Shadow Lord series could explore how Maul built his empire, how he controlled Mandalore from the shadows, and how this war against Sidious shaped the underworld. And thanks to the Siege of Mandalore, we know exactly how that story is going to end. So the Siege of Mandalore didn't just end the Clone Wars. It redefined Star Wars storytelling. It connected animation to the films in a way that we've never seen before. It elevated characters like Ahsoka and Bo-Katan to legendary status. And it gave Darth Maul one of the most tragic arcs in the entire saga. And honestly, it still might be one of the greatest Star Wars stories ever told. But I want to hear from you. Let me know down in the comments, what do you guys think of the Siege of Mandalore arc? Is this one of your favorites in the Clone Wars as well? If not, please let me know down below what your favorite arc in all of Clone Wars is. And also, do we think that this is really going to tie in directly to Maul's Shadow Lord? We do know that Maul's Shadow Lord takes place 1 year after Order 66, so we are kind of in that time frame yet. But of course, guys, thank you for watching this video. Be sure to subscribe, like the video, lets me know everything that we're doing on the channel is going in the right direction. So if you do those two things, I would truly appreciate that. But with all that being said, we will see you guys in the next video. Clan Brandalorian, I'm out.